Brand new episode of the Goon Squad. I'm your host, Bobby Melendez. This is the Fins Talk Network. Right there is Alex, Harrison, Neil, Juan. The Goons are back a week later, and the watch has not ended. KD, Mitchell, it's still going on, so we're going to get our takes on that, discuss that. But first off, let's start off with our hellos, our greetings. Neil, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just getting ready here, hoping that halfway through the show, maybe we'll have an amazing update. I don't know. That'd be great.
From your lips to God's ears, Juan, what's up, man?
Chilling, man. Logged out of work, hopped in here with the boys, and it's KD hunting season. It's KD or bust for me.
Yep.
Now it's let's see if Pat Riley can redeem himself. I know I slandered Pat Riley quite a bit recently, but I got hope for the team. Let's see what the old man does.
And there's Razor NXT Harrison, the only one person out of here under this group who has an ESPN profile page that I found today. 0-1 MMA fighter, but still on ESPN. What's up, Harrison?
That's actually not my record, but ESPN's inaccurate.
I didn't need it like that.
After one fight.
That's the only fight that was on ESPN. So thanks.
No, but still, love and respect.
No. Thanks for that. All good, man. Reporting from Miami, man. I'm down here south. I'm not at the Cape. So.
That's right. Out of the Cape and down at Dade County. He's a coon, Dade County coon. Alex, what's up, dude?
What's up, my man? Just here, enjoying another time, another week. Let's see if something happens. Like Neil says during the podcast, just ready to have some fun, bro.
Man, I hope so. Look, honestly, what we're talking about, Kevin Durant, Andy Elisburg has met with Sean Marks. There's picture proof. There's this, the report that he had breakfast. They were supposed to have dinner. I don't know if that was verified or not, but the Heat are all in on Kevin Durant, that they're trying to make this deal. Then the earlier reports for Donovan Mitchell was that the Jazz were not listening. They were going to build around him, and then all of a sudden, something happened yesterday where the switch turned on, and now they're listening to offers. So now you have some of Heat Nation saying, forget the Kevin Durant move and go straight to Donovan Mitchell. Me personally, I'm not on board with that, but we're gonna get everyone's opinion on that in just a moment. But before that, last week we were all going to do our top 10 NBA players in the NBA. And Neil and Juan both had to step out a little early. That's cool. So we're going to start the show off with that, because when we ended the show, Neil and Juan, it was pretty fiery debate going on here. It was you got Alex's, we'll go. I'll show those guys so you guys get your reactions. But we want to go with you guys first. What I'll just say, that way we kind of keep a little time constraint, guys. Let's let everybody give their takes, and then we respond. And of course, though, if you feel like you want to jump on in, do it. Just kind of remember the time frame so we don't run over a little bit on some people. But who would like to go first with their top 10, Neil and Juan?
Dude, throw mine up there, man. Do you still have the graphic? Do you need me to pull it up?
I got it, brother. I got it.
Throw it up there.
All right,
I got
here we
some
go.
stalkers. I do. First of all, just full disclosure, LeBron's not on my list.
There it is. Neil's top 10 NBA players. Go for it.
God damn.
Tell us why.
That's it. Kevin Durant, number 1. Goes without saying. I got Giannis, number 2. Unicorn. I got Steph, Luka. I've got Damian Lillard. I've got Kawhi, Kyrie, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell. And I'm not ashamed to leave LeBron off there. I'm not. LeBron would have been one of my top 10 a couple years ago, but I'm not going to put someone on there who only plays like 30 games.
Oof.
That's interesting. So the reason why you left him off, was it age, or are you talking just missing the past half year?
And it's not because of injury. They just load manage him. I mean, he's not going to be able to play full seasons anymore.
But Kyrie's there.
And I understand that, and I think it's LeBron. This list was if healthy, right?
Yes.
Not if not load managed. So like Kawhi hasn't been healthy, but when Kawhi is healthy, he's going to play. Kyrie, same thing. LeBron, dude, doesn't want to be out there for the full season anymore, and hasn't wanted to play more than 40 games for a long time. And I'm just not going to put someone on there like that.
Man, when you sent me your list, because I saw the list, I see everything before everybody because I host the show and I'm the one who does the graphics. When I first got your list, I had to do like a triple check, and I almost messaged you going, "Hey, did you forget somebody?" But I was like, "No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it."
Let's move on. Plus, I'm a little salty. LeBron left. I'm not going to lie. There might be some bias.
There it is.
I knew it was coming.
Well, let me ask you this. I noticed you have Jason Tatum. You have Luka at number 4, but you have Jason Tatum at 9. Tatum was a hot debate last week, especially on Mr. AJ Atia's.
This is a horrible list. This is a horrible.
Well, okay. Well, before we go to Juan's, Harrison, what's your response to Neil's list?
Yeah. Let me get a look at Neil here. Let me take the graphic down. Let me look at Neil.
Let's go.
Neil, get close. He's gonna whisper something to you. Get close.
You suck. You are fouled out along with Alex's mistake from last week.
Why
Not
only
only do you have LeBron off the list completely,
Amen.
which is insane. But let's pretend, for sake of the argument, we all agree with you. LeBron doesn't want to play basketball. He's off the court. Whatever. You have Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum. No Jimmy Butler on that?
No Jimmy Butler on that.
My
I
man.
love Jimmy. Don't get me wrong, but
you're saying Donovan Mitchell comes to the Heat. He's better than Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler was mentioned, like I said last week, was mentioned in the same breath as Michael Jordan on his playoff run. He's the guy who leads the teams. The guy who leads his team he led his team to the number 1 team in the East. He's led his team to the finals and deep playoff runs multiple years now. Donovan Mitchell is above Jimmy Butler?
He is. Regular season.
In what world?
Donovan Mitchell scores more in the regular season. He does.
You're crazy. Donovan Mitchell has never been to a Western Conference final.
He's been on Utah. He's been in Mormon land.
He's been on Utah. You're closer to Utah.
Miami, where people say
I ain't saying anything.
You're closer to Utah than you are Miami. I'm sending you a Utah jersey.
I feel bad for Donovan Mitchell. I feel for him over there.
I'm sending you a Utah jersey. You are excommunicated from the Goon Squad. I am making an executive. You're out of here.
You're on Goon.
I understand you're a lawyer. It's kind of what you do. There's no argument you can propose right now that makes your list make sense.
Okay. What do you like about the list?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant at number 1. I think that's even a bad list can still have the best player in basketball at number 1. Not even arguable. I like win healthy.
I don't think
Kawhi. We both have Kawhi Leonard at number 6. We both have Steph Curry at number 3. I could have Giannis a little higher, like I said last week. But Kawhi Leonard should be on this list. When healthy, he was leading a team to the championship. So,
where's the MVP?
LeBron's probably number 1. Let me argue.
Kyrie too high.
Kyrie's definitely too high. LeBron's probably number 1 on Wong's list. When's the last time LeBron won an MVP?
It's been a long since he was in
But he's number 1 on your list.
He won a finals. Didn't he win the finals MVP in 2020?
Oh, but regular
season. The bubble? Are you talking about the bubble again? Listen.
If the bubble counts, just take a trip to relax.
Anthony Davis should be on everybody's list. If the bubble counts, Anthony Davis should be on everybody's list because he's an NBA champion and he's a 7-foot monster who can play defense and offense.
32
healthy.
32-1 record. Who holds the number 1? Who holds the one there? 32-1 in 3-1 games. LeBron's the only one that has been able to come back from that.
You're talking past tense. We're talking about right now.
But honestly,
when healthy.
When healthy. And now,
then I have to go back to the bubble because that's the last time we saw LeBron in playoff mode. But
here, all right, let Juan get his time here. We're gonna go. Neil, he and I love it. Unapologetic, went right to it, hammered it down, and
it's like, come at me, bro.
You come at. He was ready. He was ready.
Let's roll, baby. Let's roll.
I respect that. But let's go ahead and get to Juan's list.
That's a real goon right there. That's the definition of a goon. I'm gonna say it.
3,
Carry
2,
on.
1. Juan, go for it.
All right, so this is pound for pound the most balanced list you're gonna see all year. You're not only looking at regular season here. You know, I'm all about the playoffs, so I count the regular season, but this is mostly playoff influence right here. Giannis just last year pulled one of the greatest playoff runs and finals runs in NBA history, proving that he's one of the most dominant players to ever step on the court and one of the most crucial closers for a team to have late in games, especially going into a game 6 or a game 7. LeBron, I mean, nothing else that needs to be said. LeBron is LeBron. He was gonna be the scoring champion this past year, didn't end up getting it, but LeBron was just stuck on a bad team, and that's why he wasn't back in the playoffs. And if you know me, you know that I am the number one LeBron hater. But when it comes to the playoffs, this guy just turns on a different gear. And going back to 2020, yes, I know Bam and Dragic got injured, but it goes back to this guy just is at a level that yeah, Jimmy Butler came pretty close, but is unmatched because Jimmy Butler showed that he was human in that series, and LeBron, even at age 36 that year, 35, 36, showed that he's just a complete alien that doesn't run out of gas. Kawhi, plagued by injuries last few years, but last time we've seen him on the court, arguably best bucket, get a stop guy in the NBA. The Claw is just a phenomenal player, especially in the playoffs. I don't think he's the number one in a championship team, and I don't think the Clippers will ever win anything with Kawhi being the number one. But if you stick him as just a killer on a squad that's already built and has a culture and has a leader, Kawhi can be one of the best players in the NBA on any given night, regular season or playoffs. Steph Curry, you just saw what he did in the playoffs now, cemented his legacy, finally got a finals MVP, proved that he can win before KD, with KD, and after KD. I mean, nothing much more you need to be said. Jimmy Butler, arguably, this is one of the, you call me biased all you want, but I think Jimmy Butler deserves to already have a ring on his finger. I feel like as far as the amount of carried that a player has done in this league, it doesn't come close to the amount of carrying that Jimmy Butler has done, just completely pulling this team out of the dead by himself. Game after game this year, even like Boston, we ended up losing that series. But if any person would have told you after game 3 that, yeah, we were going to be out in 5, and this guy just managed to make something out of nothing multiple times. KD, I know, like, why the fuck is KD at number 6? I'll tell you why KD's at number 6. Phenomenal player, but the last time I've seen him in the playoffs, once, yes, he got sucked by himself, and he was 1 inch away from sending the future champs, the Bucks, home and getting a chance of going through. But that didn't end up happening. It is what it is. And this past year, we just saw KD's team get absolutely slashed through with, like, no type of mercy, really. And if you go back in time and you put yourself in that first round, people were talking about the Celtics like, I mean, they were the basketball version of the 72 Dolphins, like or the 85 Bears defense. Like, these guys were getting compared to one of the all-time great defenses in the NBA or just in sports in general. And after that Nets series, we realized that it wasn't the Celtics. It wasn't that the Celtics were that good. The Nets were just that bad. And then the last guys you have here is just prime scorers: Luka, Joel, Nikola Jokic, and Damian Lillard. I just don't think they're number ones, but they're the next great talents in the NBA.
All right, there you guys have it. Alex, do you have any response to Juan's list?
Look, like I said, I'm a homer as well, and I know Jimmy Butler, like you mentioned, has carried the load and overall one of the best players, but he's too high up there in comparison to Nikola Jokic and Embiid, even Durant, you can say. But that's my only thing. The list is pretty solid. I would say my top 3, I feel are adequate, and Kawhi could be a number one on a championship team. He's proven that with the Raptors. So that justifies everything. But that would be my only thing with the list. The list is pretty solid, man. It's just I think Embiid and Jokic are way too low in comparison to Butler. There should be overall talent, defensively, offensive weapons. They're a little bit better.
Jokic,
but we just see Jimmy.
Yeah, Jokic also gets knocked down because of almost killing somebody on an NBA court on live television. and Embiid is
I got you.
He's just a little gross sometimes. So that's why
what's funny? Embiid offensively, Hakeem. If Hakeem Olajuwon will play in this league right now, he will be dominating every center. And Embiid's game reminds me of Olajuwon a little bit. His footwork.
Embiid would be higher up in my list if this past season I didn't see Jimmy Butler getting up in his face, defending him, and not being afraid of taking shots to the body, going one-on-one on him. So, you have to be more dominant than that to get higher up as a big.
All right, so this Neil and Juan's list and pretty active. You want to take a quick peek at Alex and Harrison's list, guys?
Yeah, actually.
Put them side by side. Can you put them side by side?
Side by side.
It's probably not gonna be better than mine.
Let's see Alex's list first, and then throw up Harrison's.
Let's go.
Right,
Let's go.
All right, this is Alex's list from last week.
No,
Tyler Hero.
Oh, my bad. Wait a second. That's my
Homer.
bad. This is the list. My bad. I got the wrong.
Well, no. Put Juan's face. He's okay. Juan, are you okay?
Yeah.
And I got Omer there too, baby. Top 10.
I saw that.
You should have saw Harrison. You should have heard Harrison last week. Harrison went off. He just went off. All right, Alex.
The only thing I don't know if I would put John Morant. I almost put John Morant in my top 10. The reason I held him out was because I don't see him, he's a point guard, as far as facilitating, he's not really there yet, and defensively, he's not really there yet. He can score, sure, but I mean, he doesn't.
He can rebound.
Yeah, he can
He can lead you.
How long is he going to? I think John Morant. I think when you put him in there, you're projecting. I think you're projecting what he's going to be.
Well, it's based off this past year, but yes. I see top 10 players, I see the trajectory where he's going.
You're seeing
he's Derrick Rose like. Absolutely.
Because I don't think he's provided top 10 level of play yet. I think he could. But not
you
yet.
can argue.
Alex,
you can argue this year statistically. You can argue this year he's top 10, top 15 for sure. Overall.
This past year, I think top 15, yes. Maybe not.
Alex, what do you think of John Morant's efficiency in the playoffs?
That was terrible.
Or late closing the season, because I saw a lot.
He didn't play in the playoffs this year, right? He didn't play. He was hurt.
He did. He got hurt.
He got hurt.
He got hurt in the later round.
A lot of 9 and 24s.
That's what put him ahead of Jason Tatum or Steph Curry. I mean,
that's the youth. That's the youth.
0 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
When you're down 2 with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Stuff like that doesn't just.
Those are things I don't look too much into right now because he's still very young. Kind of like when LeBron started in the playoffs and Kobe in the playoffs.
That's why he can't be top 10 if he's that young.
That's why he can't be top 10 because he's too young. It's 1 year.
No.
He's had a positive.
You can be top 10 overall player. You can be top 10 overall player, but there's also bumps of youth that comes in the playoffs that you overcome. But to me, he still embodies a top 10 overall player in team basketball, defensive. The way he carries the team, the way they feed off him. To me,
Kyrie Irving is better than John
Morant. A very good
defensive
defensive player.
I think that John Morant is a top 10 athlete in the league, but I don't think he's a top 10.
You can say top 3 athlete in the league.
Well, it's to Jaw's defense, he's statistically better than Derrick Rose's MVP season this year.
Yes, he is.
But so statistically better than Derrick Rose's MVP season points to an MVP season. So he's an MVP caliber player, but he's a horrible defender. Really, if you look at the numbers, this is the first time he's had a positive PER until he reached the playoffs, and then it slumped. So he has to be left under the top 10, especially against under a guy like Jimmy Butler.
It's my list. I ain't apologizing. I'm taking the new approach. It's my list.
It's top 5. Your top 5 players is pretty good.
Harrison, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah, I'll defend mine.
Kevin.
Boo.
All right.
So
Giannis is way too low. Way too low.
Yeah, Giannis may be too low. We said that last week. I agree that Giannis could be number 1 in the league if he developed a shot, because the league is predicated around the shot. But he did lead a team to the championship, and you know, he could be number 1. So there's no argument on where you want to place Giannis in my top 5. Kevin Durant to me is the best player in basketball. He can score whenever he wants to.
100%.
He's a 7-foot monster, so I'll skip him. LeBron's taken a slight down from number 1 on my list. I still think he's the greatest player of all time. That's another debate. But last time we saw a head-to-head matchup between Kevin Durant and LeBron James, Kevin Durant won that. Now, Steph Curry, he did it this year, proved he can lead a team by himself or be the leader of a team and win the championship without a Kevin Durant and win MVP in the finals this year. So he's number 3 above Giannis for me. But last time we saw him versus Kevin Durant on the same team, Kevin Durant was clearly the better player and the leader of the team. Giannis, again, can be number 1 on everyone's list. That's great. Now let me defend the Joker here at number 5. The highest player efficiency rating of all time, okay, is Michael Jordan. Number 2 is LeBron James. Number 3 is the Joker. He had a plus 362, I think, this year in player efficiency rating. He's a 2-time back-to-back MVP of the league. Only thing he hasn't done is won a championship. The fact that he's so low on everybody's list is crazy. Number 6 is Kawhi. Again, this is a guy I'm a fanboy of Kawhi. I would put him number 1 because I think he's the best defender of all time. And then he proved he can be a bucket when he was on Toronto. And he can prove he can be the number 1 player on a team while in Toronto. He showed that.
Yep. He did.
So that's why having him number 3 makes sense. That it's not bad. I'd put him in top 5 if you want to take out somebody from my top 5, but I just can't respectively take away a guy who just won the NBA championship and Finals MVP and the greatest shooter of all time. I can't take him out. I can't take LeBron out. I can't take Kevin Durant out. Can't take the champion and 2-time MVP in Giannis, and I can't take the Joker out because Kawhi is absent in MVP. He's never won a MVP in the league. And then number 7. When healthy, Anthony Davis was a monster in the championship. If you want to count the bubble, he's an NBA champion. He's one of the best
defenders. You just roasted me for the bubble, and now you're praising it.
I said if you want to count the bubble,
No. You can't have it both ways, son.
Take the bubble out. Anthony Davis is a Pelican.
Without the bubble, he's the 4th highest player efficiency rating of all time, behind the Joker, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. Of all time, he has the 4th highest player efficiency rating on the court.
Angry.
That's
ESPN stuff.
Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler. He was mentioned in the same breath. He's the Miami Heat king. How can you leave him off your list? Shame on you. Anybody who does it, you're not a true Heat fan. Number 9.
That's to the Heat fan. What is that?
Number 9, Joel Embiid. 9, Joel Embiid. Alex mentioned it. He can match up with Hakeem Olajuwon. He has that same skill set. He's a monster. I just can't put him above anybody who's actually done anything. He hasn't won an MVP yet, even though he's get there. But then Luka is number 10. I can't deny Luka's ability, even though he's a horrible defender. And I think defense is the most important thing in basketball. So go ahead and attack me for Anthony Davis, because that's all you can attack me on this list.
I would have put Kawhi over Nick.
You Kawhi over Nick?
Yeah, Nick over Jokic. I would have put Kawhi over Jokic
because he's a champion. But Joker is a 2-time MVP, back-to-back seasons. He has the 3rd highest player
MVP.
But consecutive, and he's the 3rd highest player efficiency rating of all time.
I get the PER. It's not a bad argument, but Kawhi can be a number 1 and lead a team to a championship, and Jokic can't. End of story.
Joker is Matt. Look, he's got the Golden State Warriors every year going. It's not like he's going up against nobody.
Harris, I'm going to ask you something. I'm looking at your list here, and I can make the argument out of all the names there. I think Kawhi is the most complete player in the whole list.
Well,
I'm not talking about rankings. Like I look at Kawhi, and I don't see. There's certain all those players in our list, in all of our lists, we can find weaknesses. But with Kawhi, I have a very difficult time finding a weakness. in his game in comparison to everybody else. That's what I'm amazed about Kawhi.
Staying healthy.
Oh, come
That's
on.
Wait,
Bob.
That's what
Yeah, but this is if healthy.
He tore his ACL, bro.
This list is if healthy.
He's great, but he got hit by a car.
There's some
Wow.
players that can't stay healthy. No
I mean,
matter
Anthony
what.
Davis, I would not have put on the list just because
Anthony
you
Davis
take away the
is
bubble.
top 15.
Pelicans.
Hey, no, but we can
Anthony-
argue. Kawhi's injury was an ACL, and the other was when the Warriors guy when
Anthony
they
Davis
stepped on
has
him.
the fourth
right?
highest PER of all time.
That is the biggest ESPN site you can pull out right now because
And he's an NBA champion. There's nothing you can argue about it. He's an
They're
NBA
calling him
champion.
a
He's the
stat
highest
chaser.
But
What
you're
he
hating
before
on the bubble, but you can't
He
say
was
that.
supposed to come in there and be the number one.
And without the bubble, he's still the fourth highest PER of all time. You can't argue it. You can't argue
And
he's
you
on the
don't
list. He's
wanna
above
talk
John
We
about
could
Morant.
argue
He's
it.
above John Morant. He's above Jason Tatum.
Jesus.
He's above. He may be too high on the list. If you want to take Luka and throw him up and bring down AD, that's fine. But you can't put him below Jason Tatum. You can't put him below John Morant, Donovan Mitchell. You can't put him below those guys. You can't.
Jason Tatum led his team to the finals.
You can put him below Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum led his team to the finals and laid a nugget. Get out of here. He laid a nugget.
He's still
Jaylen
to the
Brown
finals.
led his team to the finals.
carried
Get out of
away.
here.
What has Anthony Davis done without LeBron James? What has Anthony Davis done without LeBron James?
The fourth highest
What has Anthony
PER of
Davis
all
done without
time.
James?
Fourth highest
Neil just
PER
PR,
of all
get
time.
out of here. PR.
Neil goes,
Purr.
What
Purr. He's like a little cat.
Nothing.
You're talking about Harrison. I'm gonna call you the cat. Purr.
Nothing.
Just PR. Purr.
what is his purr? What's his purr?
Purr.
With the Pelicans, he's
I'm at
just,
the
you know,
cake.
dropping a bunch of birds.
With the Pelicans, he's a monster. So.
Hey man, with the Pelicans, when they had Cousins, bro, they got dealt a hand. They would have gone far. Him and Cousins would have torn his ACL or his Achilles.
Cousins was a
Oh.
dog, man. His body.
They went for it. I got to give it to them. They went for it. They kind of did the same thing that Kawhi with the Raptors. They went for it. He just got hurt. All right, Bob, we'll give it back to you. You can reign the ship again.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Is Harrison okay? Okay, Harrison's okay.
Shitting on Anthony Davis, you know.
He's really agitated.
A little bit, just a little bit. But
One
let's
of the
go on.
trainers is going to get him and help him out.
That unibrow too.
Is that what knocks
He's
him off the
pushing.
list?
He's pushing one. What's with this guy today? He's on one today.
They made something
So-
ugly and just made it marketable. Like I'm surprised. I agree with Juan, man. If I was Anthony Davis, I would have shaved that shit a long time ago. But now he just makes money off it. It's trademarked.
Save
All
that shit.
right, let's reel it in, guys. Let's talk a little bit about current Heat players before we get into the KD talk. Who's been paying attention to Summer League? Anybody? All right, so based off highlights, Alex, you're watching Summer League.
Yeah.
What players
Some
are
games,
standing
yeah.
out to you? What's standing out to you when you're watching Summer League?
Oh, obviously, number one, first of all, is the return of Marcus Garrett. I love. What is it, Garrett? What's his name? He just came back from wrist surgery. I think it is Marcus Garrett, number 0. Huh? No. Damn, it was his name, man. I think it's Marcus Garrett. Bedoya. Well, he got his the Exhibit 10 contract. In Orlando, what I loved, Bob, when we talked about it, the versatility of Orlando Robinson offensively.
Yes.
He's a specimen. But offensively, the versatility that we saw. And I'll say one thing about Summer League that I wish I would have seen more is Jamal Cain came down with COVID. So he's missed all the last. He only played 1 game or 2 games. And what I saw was efficiency with him. And I wanted to see him score. But I'm impressed. Honestly, Mulder's development is shooting, even though Mulder's already 26. You can tell that what they're doing is, in the given case, obviously the Durant trade comes and we have to trade some role players. There are some players right now.
Yes.
And obviously, I don't even have to say about Highsmith. He is a role player right now. Even with trade or no trade, I saw him being in the rotation starting the season. Kind of like taking on that PJ Tucker role. Maybe not starting, but he has the same type of game, even a more efficient shooter probably, younger, a little bit more athletic, not a dog like PJ Tucker is, but a year of seeing PJ Tucker works helps out a lot of people like a Caleb Martin, like a Highsmith. So I'm impressed by the overall versatility of what we have and what we're going to pluck out of there, especially in Orlando Robinson and Bedoya.
So let me ask you this, and I'm sure you guys have followed up on it and not seen it, but Nikolai Jovic, he's had, the first game he struggled. Second game he actually had a great game for his second game. What's your takeaways on him? Are you, what are your thoughts on him? Are you wishing for a little more, or is it more just give him time and let him grow?
Yeah,
it's growth, man.
Yeah.
Go, Harrison, go.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, he's played 3 games in summer league, right? And he's got an injury right now. But he had one really good game, one not. His last game, his third game was an okay game. I think he's averaging like 11 points a game, so it's growth for him. It's not a guy who's definitely not ready for the starting lineup in an NBA season. He can probably start a few games, but it's not someone you want to go in day one with him as your starter, as Alex referenced. But it's growth for a guy like him, and I think he's going to be traded. So don't look too deep into the kid.
You said you think he's going to be in the trade, the big trade. You think he'll be included? Okay.
Yeah, I think he should. Yeah, I think he shows enough promise, and
he could be part of it.
Pick. Yeah, that he's going to have to be thrown into the trade talk. He shows that type of promise as that type of player that he's going to need to be thrown into the trade as like a first round pick.
I think I get that point, and I won't argue. My only pushback is what Pat Riley said about him, and even his press conference. I think the Heat have big plans for him, and he was saying that about hanging number 5 up or hanging up his jersey in the rafters. So I think the Heat have plans, and the Heat are going to try to do it. But yes, I guess if you put all the chips in the center of the table to get KD, you might have to do something like that if that's what the Nets want. You don't want to give up someone like maybe Bam. But we're going to discuss some trade packages because Alex challenged us to come up with some trade packages. I know Alex, myself, and Harrison came up with one each, and so the guys can react to that. If Juan has something or wants to throw something out, or Neil, go right ahead. But let's talk about the KD situation, because Juan, you've been pretty passionate about it because you've been wanting to see some sort of movement about a deal with the Heat. Pat Riley, you're afraid is not doing enough to get a deal done. But now this past week, there has been some movement. There's reports that a lot of GMs, I believe Marks, I'm forgetting his first name, maybe Bobby Marks, I think that's who it is on ESPN. But he reported that he said that a lot of general managers are just like, they're rolling their eyes saying, man, Pat Riley's, it's just this type of situation. He's going to end up with Kevin Durant. Roj said that at the Miami Heat are the ones that are really determined to get him. And then there's, of course, you have some video footage live during a summer league game of the Toronto's GM and Ujiri, and you have Pelinka from the Lakers talking with Sean Marks, the GM of the Brooklyn Nets, with Rose right there. They're talking, so people are getting their heights up. But then you see, and with the reports from Barry Jackson and those guys saying that, hey, Andy Elisburg has been seen sitting down with Sean Marks. They can't confirm what they're discussing, but it's obvious that the Heat are interested. So they've had breakfast, a 1.5 hour breakfast, and they were supposed to meet later in the afternoon, and they say the Heat are the most determined. So after hearing this stuff, and I know you're all in it, you're keeping track of this, what's your thoughts right now on the KD situation?
Yeah, I saw what Barry reported, and it definitely put an interesting twist to the KD saga. He definitely said that, hey, every team is going to talk to each other as far as these trade talks go, but the Heat are going above and beyond to go as far as getting a 1.5 hour breakfast meeting to see where these talks go. As far as if we're going to land them or not, I know the Heat right now are probably one of the favorites, but I still don't want to get my hopes up so much just because.
Get him up, Juan. Get him up, Juan.
You're gonna
get him up.
Trade packages, but if you're the Nets, they said they're asking for something that's not on the market right now. They want 2 All-Stars and picks. So if they were to give Miami the same offer they gave, was it the Timberwolves? That they offered it. Was it?
Go ahead, Alex.
What with the Nets? An offer for the Nets?
The Nets?
Yeah, that was a joke. That was a fake trade.
No. The Nets, supposedly the report was that the Nets talked about trading Durant to the Nets for the Pelicans for Brandon Ingram, someone else, and some draft picks, and they declined it. That's what the report
It's
was.
a non-starter.
I don't know about the Timberwolves, but I know I did read
The
something about
Timberwolves was a
Pelicans.
joke. The Timberwolves was a joke. Like they're just playing around. Like they asked that the Nets called and they asked for Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and a bunch of picks for Kevin Durant. And obviously the Timberwolves was going to say no.
It's a joke, but it's not a joke. Kind of like them setting the table, and obviously they don't want to let go of KD, but they're like telling KD, "Hey, we want to get equal value for you. I mean, we not only are you the best player on the planet or any given night, you're also on a contract that has 4 years to go, and whoever has you pretty much has you locked down. They don't have to do much else. They don't have to worry about you going anywhere anytime soon." So that's why they're probably going to these teams, and they know they're being exaggerated for what they're asking for. But then they come back and it's like, hey, this is what we think would be the same value to giving up just your talent level. And, if teams don't want to give it up, I mean, we did what we could, but, I guess we're going to have to wait to see if until the trade deadline something happens. And, the Nets have most of the leverage here. They can talk with all the teams they want, but what's the offer that you guys are going to put up? And I'll act as the GM of the Nets because, I've seemed to be the most in touch with reality because a lot of you guys think, we'll send Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and a couple picks and
Negative, Ghost Rider. Negative.
Okay, hold on. Stop. Okay,
go ahead. I'm going to act as the GM of the Nets. And
well,
you guys
already have a negative
offers, and
connotation
I'm going to tell you if it's worth it.
Hold on. First off, I'm going to say this. Reports are is that the Nets, that they're holding off on getting rid of Kyrie because they're more determined about getting rid of Kevin Durant right now. It's kind of putting them in a standstill as well. Them talking to the Toronto Raptors, them talking to the Lakers about Kyrie, the Phoenix Suns, and the Miami Heat means that they are actively trying to get something done. They've told teams, report was, is that they've been telling teams, especially teams like Miami and Phoenix, that you need to go and try to find another trade partner to obviously compensate picks, but also just to make the salaries work. Now, for the Heat, what would that mean getting another? Because you could do a straight trade, but the problem is there's, you for someone like if you're going to quote unquote add Bam, like people have been saying, if Pat Riley has said he's getting older, he wants to win a chip. It's not, he said that, and then when there's orcas, it's not whales. So he's saying before was, so, if he has to make a trade and maybe have to include that's going to include 3 to 4 teams. I think Brooklyn is determined not to wait till the trade deadline. I think they're ready. They're going to try to make a trade. It's going to probably be right after, around after Summer League, before the offseason. That's how I see it right now with the Durant situation. It seems a lot more hot and heavy compared to Mitchell or Kyrie. Alex, you want to respond? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just want to add something real quick. When the Woj report came out, if you notice, the verbiage is the Miami Heat is the most determined team to acquire. Woj is more connected with the Nets and other teams than he is with Miami. Miami's very tight-lipped. The people you trust with Miami are like the Ethan Skolnicks, the Greg Sylvander. They're connected to the front office. Barry Jackson. They're connected to the front office. The Heat don't leak any information. The Woj report at that point, to me, when you see the verbiage, is to create more leverage for the Nets. The Nets, believe it or not, they don't have all the leverage here. You have KD. You're never going to get, we've already talked about this, you're never going to get back value, exact value of who KD is. Now, KD is 34 years old. He's older. He's still in a 4-year contract, but he's still KD. And when you weigh the options, a lot of people are going to compare it to the Rudy Gobert, what they asked. Rudy Gobert was really traded just for draft picks. The players that were traded in return are just salary cap matches. There's no stud there. There's no future all-star there. What the Jazz wanted was the 5 picks or the possibility to swap picks. So I don't know if it was 3 or 2. I forgot the whole combination. There's value in those picks for them. When you're talking about the KD deal, the players that we're going to trade to the Nets or a possible 3rd or 4th team so you could get proper compensation, there's value in who you trade. Now, in the worst case scenario, I've talked to Bobby about it. If the Heat do trade Bam, Bam carries the weight, the value, not only of the salary being closer to match KD, but the value of multiple first-round picks. So you're not going to trade a Bam and 4 first-round picks to the Nets. That's not going to happen. Now, when you find another team for a Lowry, for a Hero, for a Robinson, now you're matching salaries, but you have to start matching compensation. with the fact when I saw Woj tweet that, and then I saw the subsequent Jazz are listening out to Donovan Mitchell, they know how close we are to a deal, and you need to create leverage to get more pieces to try to raise the price up a little bit. But realistically, right now, the only thing I will say about KD that I'm still intrigued by is the whole Golden State situation. I really want to see, because they haven't talked about it much, but that has to be a discussion there if Durant speaks to Curry, because that situation could play out, and they have good pieces that they can offer to the Nets. But
no chance.
No chance.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't discount it until they say no.
Agreed.
Curry
No
already
chance.
spoke on it. He said that KD is a great player, but he likes the way the team is built right now and what they're working on. So.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, it seems that
Okay.
that ship has sailed. I don't think it's a burned bridge. It's just a ship that has sailed. And you know how those guys operate. They're not going to hold grudges. They're just going to keep on doing their thing and look the other way.
Well, and I will say too, a lot of those stuff that you hear coming out as well. And Alex brought up the connections with the reporters like Roche and Shams. A lot of it though is leverage play, trying to up the ante to try to get other teams. Some of it may be a little bit true. Most of it's bullshit. It's just how they,
especially if the trade is close.
I think the Nets are, because the report was is that they requested Devin Booker from the Suns, and the Suns were no. That they're saying, hey, what about Bam? No. What about this guy or Scotty Barnes? No. So they're getting a lot of no's. They're in a situation now. The 4-year deal is a great point for why they have some leverage, but I also think it's a negative because you said you're not going to go anywhere. If you got a 4-year deal, he's not going nowhere. You're going to have 4 years. In today's NBA, that's not true because he just signed that deal, and look, he's turning around and leaving the following year. So that's actually leverage for the other team to say, hey, look, he's leaving you. I mean, you see with other teams and that's why Adam Silver today was saying that we have to kind of figure out how to stop this because teams, if player signs a contract, he should, which it's kind of double-edged sword because teams have to honor the deal too. But, we have to figure out how players can't just demand a trade and get thrown out, So I think that is something that can play in those meetings as well. And I think the Nets are going to have to realize, I think it's more about who can create the most creative trade package with separate teams that would bring in the most value or draft compensation compared to how can you get a player equal to KD's value, because you're not going to get a player equal to KD's value, that's why I think even though I say it's my thing is like highly unlikely Bam would be included in the deal, I'm not going to shut the door on it, because then if it does happen, that's because it's a desperation move where some team did come in and now I'm going to throw Bam in there and that's going to steal the deal. But I think right now for Kevin Durant, it's more likely who could create the most creative deal and get the other teams to come on board to make this trade. Neil, you've been silent, and I apologize, my brother. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I do agree to an extent on what Alex is saying, is that I do think the Nets are trying to gain more leverage by putting things out there through ESPN reporters, because I think they realize that they aren't going to get full value for Kevin Durant. And the only way that they can get as much value as they're going to get is they can just go out there and start. I mean, think about what happened all day yesterday. We had a lot of the Miami Heat max interest. Heat are the most interested. And then all of a sudden, you've got tons of ESPN personalities saying the Heat don't have it. They don't have the pieces. This is that. This is why. They're trying to get Miami to bid against themselves.
Exactly.
And
it won't happen.
And it's not going to happen unless what Bobby's saying is true. Unless somebody comes over the top, offers something more than the Heat can offer, and then the Heat feel desperate and they have to include Bam. But at this point, there's no incentive for the Heat to include Bam. And I think if we're looking at a Durant trade, it's probably going to be a 4-team trade or a 3-team, but probably looking like a 4-team. And I wouldn't be surprised if Donovan Mitchell is involved in this 4-team trade going somewhere and Utah is in the mix. I mean, that would be really crazy, but that kind of makes a lot of sense, given, what assets Miami has to offer, and, Phoenix being in there, Indiana being in there, Utah. I mean, so I mean, Alex made some really good points. He did.
I just want to add one quick thing, because when you mentioned Donovan Mitchell, it triggered it, and I think I sent it to the group chat. There's one thing that I see. This is worst case scenario for me, not only as a basketball mind, but as a fan. If the Heat include Bam, I don't necessarily think of it as a desperation move. I think of it as a calculated risk move where it minimizes the package you have to send out, because Bam in himself carries a big salary and also a lot of leverage and talent. Now, one thing I'm intrigued by is Bam and Mitchell are close. If Mitchell gets traded, ends up in the Nets, and Bam also wants to team up with him, doubtful for now, but this is one thing. For me, the Nets best outcome is acquiring Mitchell and acquiring Bam. That's your future right there. You traded basically Durant and Kyrie for Mitchell and Bam. So that's what I'm Sean Marks. That's the angle I'm going for. I'll tell Miami, you can keep your picks, you can keep Tyler, just give me Bam and throw some salary. I'll take on Duncan Robinson's contract. And then I go to Jazz and I acquire Donovan Mitchell. That's if I'm Sean Marks. That's the best case scenario for me. I traded two people that don't want to be here, and supposedly Kyrie still wants to be here. But now I got Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, and Bam Adebayo.
The Kyrie thing is just a ploy, I think. I think that's another one. That's another,
But now you mentioned that. That's intriguing. That's intriguing, Bob.
And one thing that I heard today, which I thought was just a massive red herring, was Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. I mean, come on.
He ain't going to win any. I mean, he can go, but Knicks ain't winning anything, man.
That's not bad. It's an RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell. And,
that would be terrible. That would be terrible for the Knicks.
I mean, you can send a nice package.
Does it move the needle? That's my thing.
And Bob, this is Danny Ainge. This is Danny Ainge breaking down the Jazz. Danny Ainge already did this. He did this with the Celtics when they were aging. He was able. Bobby Marks was in the Nets front office, and King was fired. Billy King, never going to be a GM again. He's the one that traded all those first-round picks for Garnett, Pierce, and what was left of Terry to team him up with Darren Williams. Remember, Danny Ainge already tore. Danny Ainge built this Celtics team. The Celtics team that went to the finals. He built it after a teardown. He's going to do the same thing to Utah. You can sell Donovan Mitchell, but you have to. Oh no, I don't want to trade Donovan Mitchell. Why? Because you build up the asset. If you're going to say Donovan Mitchell wants out, that's it. Your asset is depreciated. You have to find something for him. They're going to hold him up all the way up, but he's going to tear it down no matter what.
Yeah, and Neil had to hop on off. He's going to go put his baby down, so that's okay. Harrison, we love quiet. You, Neil. What's your thoughts on this? And then we'll go to your trade package for KD. Put the Xbox down.
We're doing a podcast, man. We're live.
I'm there. I'm here. I'm engaged.
So tell Harrison, you could give me your thoughts on this situation as well, responding to Juan and Neil and Alex. But then we'll move into let me know when you're ready to move into your package, and I'll throw it up there.
Yeah. So
it sounds sexual.
In regards to shut your mouth.
You wanted to throw
move into your package.
Put your package. All right, guys. Here it comes. Sit down.
I do it too.
I know. God help us.
Yeah, so in regards to Donovan Mitchell, that's a guy I think I want a little bit more than KD for only a few reasons, and that's because of we give up less to get him.
Okay.
I think we have to give up Bam at this point to get a guy like KD.
You would have to give up Bam.
You would have to give up Bam at this point to get KD. And you can say no all you want. But like Juan stated earlier, what Brooklyn set the table for however much of a joke you want to say it is and how much that trade scenario was, they're serious in regards to it's going to take a lot for us to give up a guy who's under 4 years contract, who we haven't seen Durant say, I'm not going to play basketball if I'm not traded. Because right now, you look at Brooklyn's roster, they can compete. They should probably be favored to win the East again.
Well, that's why now the report is, or the rumor is, running it back.
Yeah,
they could run it back perfectly fine, man.
Even if you trade Kyrie, what you get back for him is going to be equally good. You're still going to have the weapons you signed in the offseason, and whatever you get for Kyrie, you're still Kevin Durant and a boatload of players. I think Kevin Durant, in my opinion, should run it back. He should own Brooklyn, tell Kyrie, look, it didn't work out. Run Brooklyn, run New York, give Brooklyn the best. And Miami should go after a guy like Donovan Mitchell.
And Ben Simmons is still there.
That's
Ben
true.
Simmons is still
There,
there.
that's
That's
true.
a guy
That's true.
who can run the point, elite defender.
Dude, they have a squad. They have a squad.
They have a
squad, man.
So let me
This
ask
is
you this.
This is just personal. This is just personal.
I want to throw this
He
out
needs
there.
to stop being sensitive, right? Yeah, like
I'm sorry, Harrison. Let me ask you this. I want to ask this, and you guys very quick, and I'll let you. We'll get in your trade package, but because you brought up Ben Simmons, because I've seen this thrown out there. What would you guys? I know my feelings on it, but obviously the Heat could acquire Donovan Mitchell on his rookie extension with Bam because Bam belongs to the Heat. The Heat cannot. Bam can't go to the Nets unless they move. Oh my gosh, I just lost. Thank you, Ben Simmons, because he's on a rookie extension, but he got that from Philadelphia. So Miami would send him. It would conflict. So how would you feel about KD and Ben, or how would you feel about Ben Simmons on the Heat? I saw that thrown out there, so I want to get your opinion. Harrison, I'll start with you, and then Juan and Alex, you could react. But if Ben, how would he fit? Obviously, the chemistry is to me is the
that's
issue.
the thing. I love Ben Simmons as a player.
Okay,
but
even though he can't shoot, but he fits.
And the thing is, he fits the athletic point guard, elite defender. I love Ben Simmons, and even the way
this is right here is where's his heart? Where is his heart?
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Me.
That's the only thing. And the Jimmy
I'm sorry
connection.
to cut you off, Harrison.
No.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, go Harris.
Every show, we're gonna. Alex, what do you think?
No, I said everybody. I said you first. But Alex,
Jesus, bro. He's playing Xbox 2 seconds now. He gets offended. Come on, man. Just answer the question, bro.
Harrison's the Kyrie of our show.
Yeah, you see?
Kyrie of our show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing. Oh, you're gonna ask Alex? Okay. Just answer the question, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so I think what he should do is I think KD's a little too sensitive, like Kyrie, and he should just tell Kyrie, look, it didn't work out. You're my boy. Send him off. I have Ben Simmons. I have a squad. Let's run it back in Brooklyn. And we should go after full send after a guy like Donovan Mitchell, like you said, Bob. That's a guy who we can take in his rookie max deal with Bam because Bam still is our contract. Now you pick Jimmy, Bam, and Donovan instead of just the Jimmy and KD and whatever we can fit around them. I like that a little bit better. I think a team that has that, and that kind of keeps our core together too, for the most part. We'll lose a guy like Hero. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss him so much.
Let's look at your trade package as you're talking.
So if we're gonna trade for Kevin Durant, this is the package I think that we should be that it will take to get a guy like Kevin Durant, and we're gonna end up getting Kevin Durant. We're gonna send Bam, 6th man of the year, Tyler Hero. So Bam, an all-star, and a potential all-star 6th man of the year, Tyler Hero, with a young, our 26th overall pick, Jovic, however you want to pronounce his name,
Jovic.
Then De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento, and then Sacramento will get Ben Simmons off of Brooklyn's hands because of the rookie deals they got going there. So I think this is a 3-team trade. It's going to take a 3-team trade, in my opinion, to get the Nets on board here. Now you're looking at the Nets acquiring potential 3 All-Stars in this deal with a boatload of draft picks. And that's what that Nets received draft compensation note is there. In my original trade scenario I sent over, it had the exact draft picks included.
I only have so much room.
I get it. But this is a good deal for the Nets.
Harrison, can I tell you one thing? If I'm trading Bam, there's no way I'm trading also Hero and Jovic.
You're insane because you're getting Kevin Durant. There's no way. There's no way. And there's no way the Nets
himself.
Hold on.
And there's no way. There's no way the Nets accept that, Alex.
They're realistic.
Juan, what's your thoughts on this? Because you were talking about being the Nets in this situation. What are you thinking of this trade? And is it realistic?
I think the problem doesn't even come from the Nets side. I know everyone clowns the Kings for being really dumb and making really dumb decisions, especially when it comes to trades. But, maybe. But I don't know how the Kings look at Brooklyn and tell them, yeah, go ahead, take De'Aaron Fox, and we get Ben Simmons. I don't know if his value is that high to go 1-for-1. If anything, the Kings will have to get something else in return, apart from Ben Simmons for De'Aaron Fox. I mean, am I ranking De'Aaron Fox too high? I don't know.
But with a Bam thing, if I'm trading Bam, what I'm attaching is Duncan Robinson, future picks, and role players. There's no way I'm trading you Bam Adebayo and then giving you Hero and then giving you Jovic. No, that's not the package, man. That's way too high. No, man. You guys crazy, bro.
You have to let go of your 3 stars. That's what
you guys are crazy, bro. You guys know what Bam is worth?
Alex, let him explain.
Because
he's worth 5 points in a playoff game, Alex.
You have two young all-stars and one that has potential to be one. And then if they end up getting Fox, I mean, hey, that's a whole other layer to the onion. But that's what Brooklyn's gonna want. And you don't want Hero, and maybe they want Duncan on top of that. Maybe they want Strus switched out for one of those guys. But it's gonna take 2 of 3 of the ones listed.
So let me ask you. So with the Heat, what the Heat offered the Nets, so what the Nets are receiving in this trade scenario, you're cool with it. It's the Sacramento part of the deal where you're like, that where it won't.
Yeah, I think, and that's where these 3-team trades get real sketchy, because then you have, let's say, Bobby, you and me and Alex, we have a trade going on, and me and Bobby agree, but then Alex you know what? No. You guys seem to be getting a fairly even deal, each one of you, and I seem to be getting the lesser deal here. And I was brought here to kind of, be able to middleman your trade, but I'm getting no value here. So, then you have to find another.
I'll tell you. Let me go first, because I'm going to defend that scenario, that Ben Simmons for a semi-good De'Aaron Fox. I think you're ranking De'Aaron Fox too high I think he's on the same thing as Tyler Hero, right? I think that's a more fair comparison, where he's a potential all-star, but he can't lead a team. I don't know if he can be the guy, because his plus minus is negative 192, as in where Ben Simmons plays, his plus minus is plus 892. When Ben Simmons is on the court, he's adding points to the board because he's such an elite defender. That essentially plus minus means I'm defending yours and getting us a bucket. So De'Aaron Fox is not even close to Ben Simmons.
What's Fox's salary, Harrison? Do you have that in front of you?
Yeah, it's like 172.
He got a max deal too.
Yeah.
Okay. So the salaries match. Okay.
Yeah, the salaries match. So that's why it makes sense for the swap for Ben Simmons, and it's on a whole nother stratosphere of talent of player, where De'Aaron Fox is okay. He's a good player, but he's not a plus 892 player like Ben Simmons.
I'm cool with the swap. I'm just gonna have one thing, because I don't think you guys understand what value is. If for Kevin Durant, the Miami Heat trade Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and Jovic, I will shave my head live on the podcast. You guys can watch it. You guys can respond to it.
Now I hope it happens.
I will shave my head live on a podcast, because if you attach Hero, Jovic, is because you're attaching Kyle Lowry. Bam Adebayo alone, his value, who he is as a player, not about salary, his value saves you from trading Hero and Jovic. You trade Bam, Robinson, and role players like an Omer, Gabe Vincent.
All right, Harrison.
Mark it down, Bob.
Listen.
Again, I'll defend my trade. I already defended the Ben Simmons thing. Now I'll defend my trade in regards to sending Bam to there.
Go ahead.
Like
Alex, you'll go to yours.
I rather go after a Donovan Mitchell, because what we're gonna have to do to get a guy like Kevin Durant is give up Bam, is give up Tyler, to bring a third team to get a guy like him. And you can get upset all you want. What we want to do and what you think is unreasonable, you're asking the Nets to do something unreasonable, is to give it the best player in the league with 4 years left on his deal.
He requested a trade. They're not going to get.
It's unreasonable. He can request a trade all he wants, but they can force him to play.
He requested a trade. He's a disgruntled superstar. The Nets could ask for whatever they want. The Nets know the realistic offers they're going to get.
No.
Bro, you got the Toronto Raptors not giving up Scotty Barnes. You got us giving up Adebayo, Hero, and Jovic. You got to understand value and what value lies in players. Okay? You can understand this. Bam Adebayo alone carries the value that, for example, you may have to include salary matches. When you trade a Kyle Lowry, his value is low. Nets don't want Kyle Lowry, so what do? More compensation, more players. When you trade a Bam Adebayo, the necessity to trade your whole squad or deplete it is non-existent because you're trading away your top 2 player. The Nets want Bam Adebayo. Of course they do,
Alex,
but they know they're not going to get everybody.
Value.
Harris, let Juan respond, and then Alex will go into his compensation, and then Harris, you can respond, and Juan to that deal as well. Go ahead, Juan. Respond.
No, yeah, Alex is acting like, Nikola Jovic was the back-to-back MVP, and was the one putting up all these crazy numbers. You're giving up Bam. Yes, you're right. Bam holds majority of the value. Tyler Hero is not as valuable as you think.
What's that report now about the RJ Barrett and Tyler Hero today? That what team was it that said that they value RJ Barrett more than they value Tyler
That's a West Scout.
That's pushing it a little too far, but Tyler Hero is not as valuable as you think he is. Only in Miami are people going to agree with you. Outside of Miami, nobody's going to agree with you that Tyler Hero is that value. So yes,
Danny Ainge will agree with me.
He's a nice piece. Yeah, because I'm not gonna say it.
Wow, bro.
I'm not gonna say it. I'll get in trouble. Tyler Hero is a nice piece, but he's not the savior. Yes, he got the 6th man of the year. It's inflated numbers. Come on, let's be real.
Oh, here we go with it. Oh my lord.
Jovic has not played a single minute of a professional NBA game. Not a single one. Yes, he's doing well in the summer league. How much of the players that do well in the summer league actually translate to doing well in the NBA? It's a small percentage, man. It's a small percentage.
Alex, let's leave it on. Let's leave it at that.
Players and a draft pick. This guy has never played in the NBA before.
All right, let's leave it at that.
Go.
Let's move to Alex here.
I even forgot my trade proposal. Let's see my trade proposal.
Let me make sure I get up there. Boom.
What?
This is okay, guys. This is what you call a realistic trade offer. Obviously, when I put Nets receive draft compensation, it's a whole lot of compensation. This is just in the hypothetical that Kyrie is also included. So
there's not a single all-star in this list.
What?
They don't get a single all-star in your list.
No, they're not going to.
Let him respond.
Let him cook. You got the potential right here. When they obviously the Heat acquired Kevin Durant. Okay, now you have the option here when it comes to the Nets receiving. You got Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, your shooter to go on. I'm just thinking about obviously what they're going to put in the team this year. You got Tobias Harris, which is a salary dump to offset basically. You get the extra compensation for taking on his contract. Russell Westbrook's on a ending. This is his last year of his contract. It's an expiring deal. And to acquire Russell Westbrook, the Lakers have to give up to get rid of Westbrook. They have to give up of THT, which is a great role player, probably 6-man with them, and obviously 2 first-round picks. I got in this trade scenario, I got Miami trading at least 3 first-round picks, and the Lakers trading at least 2 first-round picks. So the Nets are going to acquire all those players that you saw there, plus 5 first-round picks and possibilities to swap. The reason I got the Sixers here is if you move Kyle Lowry. Hey, Bob, am I missing a player here? Didn't I also acquire? I think I acquired from the Nets, Joe Harris. Isn't that part of my trade package?
You're getting players back. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the salary for Duncan Robinson.
I think you may have. Yeah, and I apologize. Okay. You sent me 3 different trades, Alex. This was the first one.
When people think about these complex trades and when they talk about multiple trades, this is what it looks like. This is exactly what it looks like. You're not just going to get a one-player swap straightforward. You're going to get teams that want a player, that are missing a player, quote unquote. The Sixers, I think, will be high on Kyle Lowry because they're going to go for it. That's why they signed PJ Tucker. So Kyle Lowry is from Philadelphia. He has played for Daryl Morey before, so there's a relationship there. I see them maybe coming in. Remember, this is just hypotheticals, but this is a trade where I was telling you, Harrison, that you're talking about compensation and value. Now, for example, you trade a Bam Adebayo here, you can get rid of Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and you got Bam, Tobias, Russell. That's how it works. You're just not going to trade everything for one player in return. The value, you have to see what you have in your players.
There's no value.
This is a realistic trade for.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Alex.
No, go. Ask any questions. Fire away.
Harrison, go
You
ahead.
want to go? All right, yeah. So what? First thing I have a problem with, you're setting them no all stars. The Nets want an all star. They actually want
Russell
two
Westbrook.
all stars, right?
Russell
Russell
Westbrook.
Westbrook is not an all star.
Tyler Hero.
He's not an all star. Tyler Hero's not an all star. Again, they're not an all star. You're talking about an aging Russell Westbrook who
The
doesn't.
Nets could
fit
ask
in
for
with-
whatever they want. They could ask for
Alex,
whatever they want.
I listened to you rant. And you showed me about value. Russell Westbrook adds no value to the Brooklyn Nets. I don't care if he's on his last year. They're trying to win this year. They want to continue to win. It's why they made the moves they made. Russell Westbrook, in this scenario, goes to the Nets, and you still have Ben Simmons on the roster. Russell Westbrook fits nowhere on the Nets roster. He barely fits on anybody in the league's roster.
Okay,
Let
can I
alone the
tell you
Nets.
the point
Taylor
of
Horton
acquiring
Tucker's a
Russell
good
Westbrook?
player.
The point of acquiring Russell Westbrook is you get 2 first-round picks. The only reason Kyrie Irving is not a Laker right now is because the Lakers still haven't given up 2 first-round picks. So this is basically an incorporation of those trades. Kyrie Irving, they're in negotiations right now. Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook, 2 first-round picks, and possible another match if you have other teams. So I'm
I
just
know
throwing
you
this
had
scenario
something
out
better
there.
than this. Can you put up one of his other trade packages?
I don't have. I didn't do the two.
I have
others.
various ones. I have various
Give me a
ones.
second. Give me a second. I could.
Yeah.
I could read, let
I
me read
hope
it
this
off.
wasn't his best one.
This is one of the most unrealistic trades
Guys.
I've ever laid my eyes upon.
All right. So give me a second here.
I love this kid.
All right.
This is like I could
Just
put
wait
this
and see.
in
Just wait and see.
on amateur mode, and it would still.
All right, Alex.
Go ahead.
You did have for the first one. You did have Joe Harris, and which is likely just because of the situation where they're trying to dump that contract.
Yeah.
But okay, so this other one he had, guys, and I'm going to read this off, so forgive me. Okay, so Miami Heat acquiring, it was a 4-team trade with the Miami Heat, Utah Jazz, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Brooklyn Nets. The Miami Heat acquire Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverly. Beverly from the Jazz, obviously the Nets, and Durant. The Utah Jazz, Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Hero. The Philadelphia 76ers acquire Kyle Lowry. The Brooklyn Nets acquire Donovan Mitchell, Bogdanovich, and Gabe Vincent. That was the second one.
That's better. Put that one on.
But Bogdanovich's value, but like we have
The other ones were for Donovan Mitchell. They weren't Durant. So
Yeah, they weren't Durant. Well, the Donovan Mitchell ones I like also because what Harrison says is going to cost you way
I
less.
just don't understand in what world you send Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and some picks. The rest is filler. I mean, let's be real. Like this.
But that's the same thing like the Jazz, man. The thing is,
it's filler, AJ. At the end of the day, your main proposal here, the main meat and potatoes of your trade is Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and some picks in return for Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever gonna say like the Nets are in no world are ever gonna.
No. Remember, you're getting 3 picks from us, but you're getting 2 picks from the Lakers. So now what you're getting is Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and 5 first-round picks.
That's not what the Nets want, AJ.
But the Nets can want whatever they want. They're
No,
gonna take.
wait.
Well,
AJ,
I get what Juan's trying to say.
Hold on, Bobby.
Yeah.
Hold on, Bobby. Because you're completely ignoring what the Nets are asking for, or an idea of what they're asking. It doesn't have to be complete of what they're asking for.
Mhm.
You're building something completely different here, and just assuming, hey, I mean, this is what benefits you. It doesn't correlate in any way with what the Nets are asking for.
It's not okay. This is the part of the negotiations. You have to have there. If you notice in this scenario, in Harrison's trade, Ben Simmons is gone. In my scenario, Ben Simmons stays in the Nets. The Nets are going to be competitive. What you're doing is you're acquiring Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson with Ben Simmons.
Tobias Harris.
And Tobias Harris, you're getting 2 first-round picks to take his contract also. That's what you guys don't see in the value. When you're getting rid, I'm taking
zero
Westbrook.
value to what's the record?
Tobias
of
Harris
that?
can start for the Nets. He
What's
can
the
average
record
15,
of that
16
team,
points.
Alex? What's
What team?
of the team you're putting together for the Nets? Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Tyler Hero, and Duncan Robinson, and Russell Westbrook.
Wow.
They're not getting 40 wins, man.
Well, that's up to them, but they're
How
getting
many are they
5
getting with
first-round
KD
picks.
and Kyrie if they run it back? I guarantee you they get at least 45, 50 maybe.
Oh yeah, they'll get to 50. If they run it back the way it is right now, they'll get 51.
So why would the Nets even say yes to? Why would the Nets say yes to dropping 20 wins overnight?
Because they're acquiring 5 first-round picks. Remember, their back is against the wall when it comes to that. They don't want to run it back.
I think that's what they're mainly trying to get back is picks.
Okay.
No, I don't know if they can hope for players. Now, this is my thing. I was going to say I get where I get where all you guys are coming from. My only thing would be is you could say yes. This is what I want for someone like KD. Are you going to get that? That's the problem. Now the report is that they're saying, look, they're more determined about trading KD than Kyrie, because Kyrie they're not going to honor. They're trying to help out KD. Now that's why, and the reason why I still think the Heat are in it, that Bam Adebayo is still an option as Harrison had proposed, is because that the Heat's offer is still good enough. Because if Bam Adebayo, like Barry Jackson says, hasn't been in the discussions, maybe because you don't know what's being leaked. But if he's saying that, then that means Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, they're the obvious ones, right? We're Lowry, that Miami Heat are still in the conversation. Now, to me, it's more about what else is the Heat or these other teams trying to do in order to make the trade more creative and flexible. I understand what you're saying because you're not wrong, right? Because the idea is, like Harrison's playing 2K, he's trading KD. He's going to want a superstar back. That's what the Nets are trying to say. We want someone to come back that equals that.
Of course.
Are you going to get that guy back? More than likely, you're not going to get someone who's equal to that. So it's all fair points. But the thing is, how many times have we seen it, Juan, you and I, NFL or in basketball where we say, oh, how the hell did that player get traded for that? It's happened before. So it's not you make a whole lot of sense, but at the same time, it's not unheard of. Russell Westbrook to the Nets, that was where I kind of went, because with the Ben Simmons saying, that's a big contract. Now, what they could do if Russell went there, now that's where you kind of lose something, is if you buy him out. Then it's like, is that what they're trying to do? Now, I understand in Alex's way, they're adding compensation, which to me, from what I've understood and what I've seen in the reports is, yes, the player thing, they would like to get a big player back, but if not, they want to get those picks that they lost trading for Kyrie and KD. Harden. So I get all that. So let me throw mine up there and I'll explain it. And I'll just throw it out there. My trade is a 4-team trade, and I go with the mindset of what can actually more than likely kind of be done in regards of what's actually on the deal and what I've read, and making the salaries reach. And I'll discuss salaries as well, why that makes sense or whatever, and we'll go from there. But I want to say ahead of time, though, you guys are making absolute sense because obviously it's KD. You're going to think that a star player has to go, and that's why I think Harrison's thing about putting Bam out there, and I strongly considered doing it just because it is KD. But I think it comes back to the Nets saying, okay, what's the best offer, the most creative offer that could get us draft picks and a roster that's strong enough to compete in the East? Whether not star players, but just players in general, like a Tyler or whatever. So let me throw that out there, and we'll go ahead and discuss. Make sure I have it here. Okay, so here's mine. Let me grab this very quick. Okay, so obviously the Heat land Kevin Durant. They don't take anything back. They get KD. To Brooklyn, KD is contract is about $44 million next season. They trade Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and they send. Let me make sure I read this here. 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps to the Brooklyn Nets. The Lakers, and then they get Tyler Horton Tucker from the Lakers with a first-round pick and a first pick swap because the Lakers don't want to give up 2 first-round picks. But I think they will have to if they really want to help LeBron and get Kyrie, they're going to have to give up another pick, and they probably feel comfortable with a pick swap. So 2 first-round picks from the Heat and 2 pick swaps, 1 pick from the Lakers and a pick swap from the Lakers. The Lakers get Kyrie Irving from Brooklyn. That's almost $37 million there. Miles Turner and Buddy Hield from the Indiana Pacers. Russell Westbrook goes from the Lakers to the Pacers at $47 million. Joe Harris goes from Brooklyn because they're trying to dump that contract to Indiana. And Kendrick Nunn also goes to the to the Pacers. And the Lakers send a pick to the Pacers. I understand because I'm listening to this and I'm hearing what you guys are saying because this is my offer currently because I think of it as, the Nets. From what I'm hearing or what I've read, is that the Nets want to try to get this done not by the deadline, but after summer league more than likely towards the start of the season. I think that it's going to come down to who really blinks first. Do the Nets say, man, the Heat have the best offer? That I'm not going to get Ayton from Phoenix. I'm not going to get Booker. I don't want Ayton from Phoenix, but I don't want Booker. I can't get Booker. I can't get Scotty Barnes out of Toronto. So with draft picks and with Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, you could put Ben Simmons at the 4 because Harrison made a great point with Russell Westbrook, and I get that. But you could put him at the 3 or the 4, and then get Tucker, who Alex has brought up, is a very valuable piece as a rotational player, as is Duncan. So you still have a decent roster to compete in the East. At the same time, getting back draft picks that you lost trading for a dumb trade with James Harden. The Heat obviously get Kevin Durant. That speaks for itself. Kyrie his main goal is to go to the Lakers. The Brooklyn Nets don't have to honor that. They could trade him anywhere. Really, and they're not really happy with him, but they get this deal done because they're able to get a couple first-round picks, a pick and a pick swap from the Lakers, and of course, they acquire back Taylor Horton Tucker, and then of course Miles Turner and Buddy Hield with the Pacers with Joe Harris, Nunn, and Westbrook. Now I will say this, and you guys are probably going to bring this up anyway. I know the Lakers. If you look at this deal, this is a perfect trade for the Lakers. I know you got Kyrie, you got Buddy Hield, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Miles Turner. I honestly, when I was doing this, and because that the Lakers have reportedly talked to Indiana for a deal for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, so this is why this trade made the most sense to me. So this is how it goes out. And again, you guys are watching the Fins Talk Network, the Goon Squad with Juan, Neil, Alex, Harrison, and myself. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. So let me go ahead and put this here. All right, so I'm gonna throw you guys back out there and get you up there.
Bobby, can I keep it real with you?
Go with it.
It's a better trade package, but I think it's just the deluxe, in my opinion.
Go ahead, bro.
Respectfully, it's just the deluxe version of AJ trade package.
The deluxe version. All right.
Better. I think everybody comes up better, but I think you would need to add more. If I'm the Nets, maybe and yeah, we've seen trades go down that you didn't expect, and maybe a trade like yours could go down like that. And I'm like, I'll be surprised. I'll be like, wow. I mean, you guys were right. I guess that's all it took.
Would you shave your head?
No. Put it. Go. Do it. Let's go.
No.
I already said it. If that was traded with Hero and Jovic,
my bad, Juan. I didn't mean that.
If KD gets traded for Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, and Duncan Robinson, I don't care what the other factors add. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. We only have to give up those 3 players to get KD.
You're gonna get role players too.
No. But he's
live on stream.
Perfect.
Here in front of everybody.
Let's do it. Woo!
All right.
That's all it takes. I don't care what the other teams are and the other variables.
Harrison's not going to shave his head. He's going to say, no. What do you got, Harrison? Go for it, brother.
That's funny, Bobby. I'm not shaving my head. So the only big problem I have with your trade scenario is, and kind of like what Juan said, is I don't think Brooklyn's getting enough, and I don't think there's no way Brooklyn lets Los Angeles win the trade.
That part I agree with.
Okay.
There's no way Brooklyn says, how are we losing Kevin Durant and LA is getting extremely better in this scenario? They get an all-time great point guard in regards to talent.
Kyrie.
They get Buddy Hield, bucket, Kyrie, and then they get a massive center. So like, and trade compensation, they get that as well. So
because of Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, but I get where you're coming from. I get the point.
Yeah. So there's no way that Brooklyn allows Los Angeles to win a 3-team trade when they're losing both superstars. And there's one thing that I want to say in regards to them getting only 3 players like Tyler, Kyle, and Duncan is Sean Marks will be known as, I think, unless he wins a championship, the worst GM ever because he let Harden gone, Durant gone, Kyrie gone, and he got
I
back
think
Tyler Hero.
Well, I think he's already in that type of thing because he traded for James Harden. I that's why he's trying to get these draft picks back.
But he traded because he basically had to.
Because they were favored to win. They were favored to win. Wong, you're not going nowhere, fellas. He's wrote in the chat. He's saying goodbye.
What? No.
Listen,
let him say his take. Let him say his take, and then he'll leave. Let him do his thing. Go for it, Juan. He turned off his mic. Kind of goon shit is that? No,
I didn't have any take. I was just gonna peacefully roll out without interrupting. But you guys
to the sunset.
Spotlight on yeah, but
that's not your role on that show. This is.
Hey, Juan. Before you go, wait. Let me do a Finn's talk very quick. Because Juan's here, and I have to bring this up. Let me throw this on here very quick. Oh, my bad.
Wait, what just happened there?
Just wait a second. Hold on a second.
Whoa.
Nah, that ain't it. And I just want to make sure I get his face. Juan, if you could just sit up a little bit.
So just go to the other side. There you go.
Very quick. We're going to do a quick turnaround because I just want to get your opinion because I wanted to have you on overtime on Monday night. What's your take on Tyreek Hill? You had an article post, man, and it was interesting. I just want you to say very quick. You don't have to get all into it, but just
the cheetah.
Quick. The cheetah. What's up on the cheetah, man? What's your thoughts on that, dude?
Yeah, when you go to a used car dealership, you're gonna get your first car. You don't got too much money, so you go down to the spot in Hialeah, that tu sabes. So you pull up, and the guy's trying to sell you like the Kia from 2005, and it's like, yo, this thing is really going, and it's like you get in, you start test driving it, and it's like a bunch of things are flaring. It's like, oh, don't worry about that. This is the best thing ever, and the guy's just selling you this like it's a brand new Lamborghini, and there's nothing wrong with a Kia. They're efficient, they're good on gas. It'll take you from point A to point B without breaking down sometimes, but it just doesn't seem genuine anymore. And that's what I put I kind of put a strong statement on it. Is what, this guy came here and it's like you're acting like the guys that are coming here to retire, like LeBron, who went to LA and he just wanted to. I know he got a championship out of it in the end because he's LeBron James, but after that he doesn't care too much about basketball. He's more on building his brand. And the way I see it, Tyreek is not making these comments because he wants to build up Tua. He's making these comments because he wants people to tune into his podcast and quote tweet the clip on Twitter. Oh, look what this guy's saying, and it's all promotion, it's all marketing. It's not genuine. And if that was the case, and it was genuine a little bit when they would talk about it during practice. And you see the comments he made then, and you see the comments he made now, they're completely different in the sense that, before he's sticking up for his quarterback, and now he's just like advertising him like if he paid for ad space during the Super Bowl halftime show. It's really elaborate. It's really elaborate.
I got you. No, I got you. And if you guys haven't seen that article yet, again, Juan is on the Goon Squad. He's one of our co-hosts here with me, and but he is a writer for the Fin Fanatic for the Miami Dolphins. And you got a lot of pushback, but people.
Great writer.
I understood. No, for sure. No, great content. I think unapologetic. If you guys haven't, go check it out and go follow him on Twitter, 3rd and 1. But I understood it because it was more about you hate to say shut up and play. It's not about that, but enough talking. Go do it. Show it what you
and I will say like that because it's not like we're back in 2016 when even though political views get mixed, but LeBron was speaking for something that he believed in, and you have this lady telling him it's like shut up and dribble. But with this, it's like, dude, shut up and focus on football because one, you're not standing up for something greater than football or a bigger cause. You're out here gossiping like a little high schooler. Number two, this is doing nothing but painting a bigger target on Tua's back, on the team's back, and on your back. because we all know that if the team goes out there and we think they're gonna be really good, on paper it looks really good, but in the NFL it's any given Sunday, and you can lose to the Lions 35-0, and everybody will be like, that's the NFL. Anybody can get it. If the team goes out there and they start stinking it up, Tyreek is gonna turn the other way and just leave all of that in the past suddenly, and just say, yeah, we're focusing on football. We're focusing on winning these games, keeping our head down and grinding, and try to ignore all the bullshit that he was saying in the offseason. And I'm tired. I don't want that to happen, because then what he doesn't know, or maybe he realizes he just doesn't care, and that's part of the selfish part of it, and it's why it gets me so riled up, is that ammo that you're giving these people is not only for now, when you think it up now, it's for mid-season, after Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, into the playoffs, going into next season, going into the draft. All the the stories that come up, and it's all gonna come down on Tua. And Tua's just there, and Tua's a nice guy, and some people are mad, like, oh, you're just mad because he's talking good about Tua. Dude, Teron Armstead has talked well about Tua. Jalen Waddle has talked well about Tua. McDaniel has talked well about Tua. The list goes on. I've written about how good it is that the quarterback is getting support. And I wrote about how good it was that Tyreek was giving him support. But I'm also going to write about hey, dude, you're crossing the line, because you're not only trying to build up your quarterback, you're just saying this shit for clicks so you get more views on your podcast, and you don't really care about
Cap for life
later down the line. So enough with that shit. Put your head down and work, and after you go out there and you put in the work and it shows, then talk all the shit that you want, and I won't have a problem with it. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Get on a rant. Get on a rant. Every show.
A lot of people didn't like it, but it needed to be said. All right, fellas. Take care.
Hasta luego, amigo. Cap for life. What's up, brother? Man. Thank you for tuning in. Ralphie boy. Ralph says, I'll try again. I get nice shirt, Bobby. Thank you, Ralph. You too, Harrison. I like Tyler Hero. He's young and he has improved his game. Cap for life. Rumor has it we're giving up Duncan, Baby Goat, and Lowry for Spider Mitchell. Danny H and Pat Riley do not like each other, so do not think it's going to be a cheap deal. Unless Sean Marks and Andy Elisburg work something out in Los Angeles or Las Vegas, it's not going to happen for KD. That's Cap for life. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Go ahead, Alex. You want to respond to that?
I was just writing. Two things before people. I know I even mentioned the relationship between Danny Ainge and Pat Riley. They've done 2 trades after the whole, shut the F up and manage your own team and all that. So it could happen. It just comes down to compensation. But I want to just jot down one thing, Bob. I want you to write it down. If for Durant, if Bam is not traded, remember this is worst. Bam getting traded is worst case scenario, most likely scenario. For Durant, what it's going to cost us is going to be a third team as well. But players from us, I guarantee is going to be Hero, Lowry, Robinson, Omer, and Jovic. It's going to cost us those 5 players.
For who?
For Durant.
Okay.
For Durant, plus compensation, including the third team, because then you're going to move Lowry to a third team. You're not going to leave Lowry in the Nets, probably. I mean, if he wants to go and if they move Kyrie, Lowry can stay with the Nets, but I don't see him and Simmons being a match. But those are the 5 players that I see, and you can write it down so you can quote me if it doesn't happen. If it does happen, those are the pieces I see that Brooklyn could take back realistically. If I'm Sean Marks, I'm realistic because, we can't have Juan Marks because Juan Marks is not realistic. But I'm realistic when it comes to what I can expect back and when I compare it to other prospects. But I'm still calling around the league.
All right, Harrison, we're going in on an hour and a half now, so we're going to start wrapping this up. But I'll give you the final word on your response to Alex. I saw you shaking your head.
Yeah, what we want to give up for Kevin Durant and what they're willing to accept for Kevin Durant are 2 different things. At the end of the day, if Miami doesn't budge on giving up a player like Bam, I don't think the deal gets done, and Kevin Durant goes somewhere else or stays in Brooklyn. So, does that mean you're shaving your head?
What will you shave, Harrison, if the trade goes down?
Live on stream.
I'm not shaving my head. I already shave everything else. Boom.
Oh, come on, man. Get in on that. Manscaped.
But live on stream?
Live on stream.
Manscaped is not a sponsor. No, not live on.
Oh man. Okay, I'm just gonna say one thing quick, Bob. Harrison, it's not about what I want to trade. It's about realistic compensation of what you're gonna get across the league. I'm telling you right now. Just think about this. If the Nets were getting what they wanted, this trade would have already happened. The reason this trade has not happened is because no one is going to meet what the Nets want. The Nets, you want the world.
The Heat will match it because what Robert said earlier, this guy wants to win a championship in his old age. He's going to be afraid that Kevin Durant is going to go somewhere else.
He's not afraid.
Riley's going to bite the bullet. Pat Riley's going to bite the bullet, and he's going to go, and he's going to trade Bam Adebayo. I'm doing what Juan does, and I got to go. That's all I got to do. I'm doing what Juan does. I'm hanging up now. Top of the cab. Leaving. And I'm back because I noticed I'm not as good as he is.
No, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up right now.
Man.
1 hour and a half mark. But I see all sides. But what Harrison's saying right there, which I brought up, he called me Robert, which don't appreciate. But that's
is weird.
That's my government name. But I will say is that
Harrison, you call me that.
You know, that's you don't have a nickname. I mean, it's not like Hair Bear. But the Bud Man. you know what I'm saying? No, but I will, and I would. But you see, that's why I'm not closing the door on Bam Adebayo being a trade. Just because if push comes to shove and another team jumps in and Pat Riley obviously really wants to get, it's reported that Mitchell is the backup option here if they can't get Durant. But I do think that Miami. Now, I think that I agree with Alex on one thing. Now, I don't think it's just Bam. But if Bam Adebayo is included in that deal, I don't see them including maybe a Tyler Hero. They might include someone else, maybe a Duncan or whatever. But
they're not Tyler Hero.
But that's where I kind of see it. But anyway, we're gonna hold it on that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on the Fins Talk Network on Twitter. Follow us on our show. We got great shows. We got the Fins Talk today on Saturday with me and Fish Tank Hank. You got Overtime with me and Brett and everybody else. And of course, we got the Goon Squad. You got Alex, Harrison, the Budman. You got Neil and Juan and everyone else. Cat for Life, Ralph, everyone else, thank you for tuning in. Give me your trade packages if you're watching the show afterwards. Thank you for Facebook or whatever on Twitter. Put the comments below what your trade package would be, your best offer for KD or Donovan Mitchell. Until then, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Have a good night. Buenos.
Hasta la vista, baby.